They kidnapped a calm-looking driver and her passenger. They were feared for their brutality, but totally missed to compute the fact that this kidnapping will not only destroy statute of their fear, but would also cost them their despicable souls.
Doesn't have a name. He's gonna come and he's gonna kill you all.
Welcome back to Paramount Recapped. I don't have many subscribers, but your single comment is a ray of hope to motivate me.
Another flight today, and I end you.
A girl is running for her life, screaming her head off like she's in a horror movie audition. Except this is real, and there's no director to yell, "Cut!" She's actually making pretty good time, but then bam, she steps on a piece of glass. Now, most people would probably lie there crying about it, but not this girl. Nope, she just yanks the thing out like she's pulling a splinter, wraps up her foot like it's just another day, and keeps on going. Almost makes you wonder if she's had worse Mondays. She's nearly at the highway when, of course, she triggers a trap, because what's a chase scene without a little drama? Ropes snatch her ankles, and next thing she knows, she's hanging upside down like an unlucky piñata. In desperation, she carves Emma alive into a tree, as if it's going to do anything except give squirrels something to gossip about. Meanwhile, we meet this guy called Driver, who, by the way, is driving because subtlety is for suckers, and his girlfriend Betty. They're on a road trip with a trailer hitched to their car, chatting about how they have to move because of Driver's situation. We don't know what the situation is yet, but let's be honest, it's probably not great if it involves a trailer and running away. They pull into a motel where the manager comments on Betty's age, making it awkward, and also says Driver's name is you, which is his way of saying, "Really? That's your name?" They get a room, and on the news, there's a report about a missing girl named Emma. Yep, that Emma. Betty thinks Emma was pretty clever for carving her name in a tree, saying maybe she's got a chance to survive. I mean, sure, carving your name in a tree is one way to go, but maybe a phone call would have been more effective? Just saying. Later, Driver apologizes to Betty for a wound she has. But Betty, clearly confused by the whole feelings thing, wonders how a guy who seems like a robot can actually feel sorry. Driver explains that he processes emotions differently, which is code for, "I have no clue how emotions work, but I'm trying here." Well, if that's not romantic, I don't know what is. Over at a wealthy family's house, things take a nasty turn when the family rolls up to find Flynn and his crew robbing the place. Flynn, clearly having watched too many action movies, freaks out and opens fire on the family, even though they weren't supposed to be home. Great job, Flynn. Hogue, the leader, is not thrilled and tackles Flynn to the ground, probably contemplating how he ended up working with such amateurs. The team scrambles, knowing the cops are on the way, and they bail. The next morning, Driver returns to the motel after a night out, sparking Betty's suspicions. She accuses him of seeing the other girl, and in true Driver fashion, he doesn't deny it, preferring honesty. He tries to calm her down by asking her to be rational, though rational doesn't work well in the middle of jealousy. They decide to get dinner at a nearby diner. Things seem calm until Hogue and his group of robbers, including Flynn, show up. Flynn, recognizing Driver and Betty, can't resist taunting them, thinking they might be his next score. Betty tries to avoid a confrontation, but Driver subtly reaches for a knife, which doesn't help keep things quiet. Hogue, playing the voice of reason for once, drags Flynn away and apologizes, though Betty is still clearly on edge, knowing Driver won't let this go easily. On their way back from dinner, things take a turn when a biker suddenly knocks Driver out, causing their car to crash. The biker is revealed to be Flynn, who just can't seem to stay out of trouble. Flynn takes Driver and Betty to a secluded cabin in the woods, intending to torture Driver for his bank information, acting like a wannabe mobster. Hogue, furious with Flynn's recklessness, warns him that if things go wrong, he'll personally deal with it, since Flynn's mistakes are already piling. Driver wakes up tied to a chair with a bloodied head, and across from it, Betty is also tied up. Ethan, one of the robbers, shows up with a knife and holds it to Betty's neck. In a moment straight out of a soap opera, Betty decides she's done with this whole situation and forces herself under the knife, leaving Driver screaming. Honestly, this is all starting to feel like a daytime drama with extra knives. Outside, Flynn is rummaging through Driver's car and stumbles upon a hidden compartment. What does he find? None other than Emma, the girl who's been causing all the drama, gagged and tied up. She tries to make a run for it, screaming her head off again, because it worked so well the first time, but they drag her back inside. She starts freaking out, telling them that the man they're dealing with is going to kill them all. Hogue asks for the guy's name, and she's like, yeah, he doesn't have one. I mean, how ominous is that? While all this is going down, Driver's already busted out of his restraints and is on a mission. Ethan? Yeah, he didn't stand a chance. Driver uses the handcuffs to take him out and then mocks the whole gang for not using zip ties. I guess even psychopathic killers can't resist throwing in a little workplace critique. Things escalate quickly from there, with Driver setting traps, shooting arrows and causing general chaos as he takes out Hoag's team one by one. Emma? She's watching it all go down, fully aware that as long as Driver's busy taking everyone else out, she's safe for now. As Emma starts connecting the dots, she suspects that Driver has been grooming her to replace Betty, especially after noticing a wound similar to Betty's. Meanwhile, Denny is on the verge of death, and the rest of the group shows little interest in helping. Amber pessimistically declares their doom, sparking a fight with Tamara, who insists she stop. As tensions rise, they hear a mysterious knock on the door. Amber opens it to find a sack on the porch. When Flynn investigates, the sack bursts open, revealing Hoag's mutilated body, causing panic. Denny, aware of his impending death, decides to escape in a jeep. With Amber's help, he fixes the engine, but Driver reappears and gruesomely kills Denny by shoving his face in the engine. Amber, covered in blood, runs, but Driver quickly catches up and kills her with a single knife throw. Emma, however, watches these events unfold with an unsettling smile. As the tension escalates, Flynn, Tamara, and Emma hear Amber's screams and decide to escape, heading to the garage where they find Denny barely alive. Flynn attempts to finish Denny off, but Tamara stops him, insisting they help Denny into the car. Meanwhile, Amber, bleeding out after Driver's attack, questions him about his motives. His chilling reply, "Keeps me in shape." Coldly, Driver claims she's just unlucky. While they drive away, Flynn flips on the headlights and accidentally runs over Amber, who is crawling to safety. They reach a hospital and leave Denny there, hoping he'll receive help. Driver, meanwhile, is strolling along the road when a group of teens offers him a ride, assuming he's been in an accident because of the blood on him. He accepts without hesitation. The escapees pull into a motel, ironically the same one Driver booked early. Flynn uses Driver's credit card to pay for the room, and the manager, recognizing the name, secretly calls the sheriff. Flynn then goes to his room, scheming how to turn Emma in for a reward without revealing too much. His sleazy nature surfaces when he makes a move on Emma, but she avoids him, pretending she needs to use the bathroom. Tamara, in the shower, hints to Emma that there's a gun nearby, suggesting she could use it to kill Flynn and escape. Though Tamara despises Flynn, she lacks the courage to act. Emma grabs the gun and hides it before Flynn returns. As the sheriff arrives at Flynn's motel room to investigate, Driver sneaks in and kills Tamara by strangling her in the bathroom. Meanwhile, the sheriff grows suspicious after realizing the credit card had been used early. When Flynn realizes he's caught, he shoots the sheriff dead. He then discovers Tamara's lifeless body wrapped in the shower curtain. Emma attempts to escape, but Flynn chases her. However, Flynn is hit by the sheriff's car, now driven by Driver. Emma tries to shoot Driver, but runs out of bullets. She crashes through a window, landing in a junkyard, where she grabs a pipe to make her final stand. When Driver arrives, she fights back, determined not to run any. During their confrontation, Flynn tries to shoot them, but Driver saves Emma by taking the bullet. Flynn and Driver engage in a brutal fight that ends in a shallow pool. Flynn is about to kill Driver, but Emma knocks him out. Emma, ready to finish off Driver, hesitates when he claims they had something special. He disarms her, stabs her in the same spot as her old wound, and pulls out a tracking device he had planted on her. In a final act of violence, Driver kills Flynn by shooting him in the head and silences the motel manager for knowing too much. The next day, Driver poses as a doctor and enters Denny's hospital room, brutally killing him while whispering, "No one lives." As Driver leaves, he spots Emma being loaded into an ambulance, surrounded by reporters. In a chilling moment, he brushes her arm before disappearing into the crowd.